I'm a Michigan constitutional crusader, rising up when the world goes cold. No badge can bring me, no chains can take me. Truth in my veins, a fire and bold. Fire and bold.
I'm recording now. I just started it.
What are you talking about? Is that where we're going?
Oh, so I shouldn't start my recording yet? Oh, okay. This will record for 24 hours straight. It'll keep my phone going.
Jesus Christ, what'd you pay for that? 'Cause I paid $100 for that.
$30.
Yeah.
Volume.
That's your plate. I gotta go. I gotta go keep the beehive for her down in Lansing too.
You're sit in your beard.
I'm gonna leave it.
Wait, she can't stand up on her own. She's leaning against the wall. Was she drunk?
Hopefully.
Looks like she must be drunk. She's leaning against the wall to make her video.
I've been an attorney for 34 years. For the last 30, I've been a prosecutor. Since 2013, I've been the elected prosecutor.
Well, you wouldn't be a good attorney general if you were a persecutor.
It's alright.
I've actually prosecuted drug users, murderers, and even corrupt politicians while leading an office of fundraising, not politics. So I got into this race because it's time to get rid of political activists. See, when I'm talking to people across the state, people say, hey, Doug, why isn't it that politicians want to push partisan politics?
Because they're selling money those with special interest
When small
bonus.
businesses are struggling to survive. And when the Attorney General's office, well, they forget that their job is actually to enforce the law, not rewrite it. They don't need another political activist. What we need is a prosecutor, someone who
All we need is
understands
somebody to recognize our constitutional rights and understand our public's dipshit.
citizens' rights. See, that's why I've been for 60 prosecutors, dozens of sheriffs, and
Do you
legislators.
really want to prosecute it? We got enough of that going on.
But it's hard when you
Oh,
ask. So here's what you can expect from me. I'm going to defend God-given constitutional rights.
yeah, it don't sound like a
You
prosecutor.
guys didn't have a video?
Lawfare, political activism, that is the Attorney General's office. Corruption,
You just said it wasn't. What are you doing?
overreach,
Huh?
and those will all be prosecuted. Instead of the law. We protect all of us, always.
Yeah, because I'm going to question you on your Constitution, dog. You get sickness, huh? I don't know. I might not. I might not have told him that.
I was there recording when right after the mayor pulled that shit with the Christian leader.
After I get the nomination in March with your help, you'll be seeing a whole lot
took
more.
his plate.
Because we're going to do everything in our power to send Hillary School.
He ain't going to eat anyway. I was
He was eating it.
He
He was eating it. And then he ran up to say something about video.
He'll live.
You should go see if they'll let him go up there and speak.
I've done the past 20 years to put this seat red permanently. Additionally, I'm the only candidate in this race that worked inside the Secretary of State's office when it was red, and it's going to be red once again. I'm going to love, and I will love to earn your vote at the nominating convention. Thank you.
Hey folks, I'm Anthony Hudson, and I just want to set the record straight. On November 18th, here in a couple weeks, we are going to be assembling in eastern Dearborn, Michigan. We're not going down there to start a riot. We're not going down there to cause trouble. We're not going down there to be loud and obnoxious. We are simply doing what our First Amendment right gives us, which is the ability to assemble. We're going to walk through Dearborn together, unified,
Armed.
showing a presence. And we're going to do it by obeying the law and following our First Amendment rights. We're not going down there to be causing trouble, to be obnoxious, to be loud. We're going down there because it's our God-given right to assemble. We, the people here in the state of Michigan, do not need to be scared or be afraid to get together anywhere, in any city, any township, or any county here in the state of Michigan. So if you'd like to join us, please keep an eye on our social media. We will be announcing where we're meeting up and what we're going to be doing once we get all the logistics put in play. So, again, a peaceful assembly in eastern Dearborn, Michigan.
That's right. Person for governor.
Their new leader, so Maritime, the total communist. This is what the Democrat Party stands for now. Government-run grocery stores, defund the police, abolishing private healthcare plans, social workers replacing cops, boys in girls' sports, and New York City is only the beginning.
Yep.
3 radical Democrats running for Senate want to bring these same extreme Marxist policies to Michigan. Michigan doesn't need a communist takeover. We need safety, good paying jobs, freedom.
Who's this
We
guy?
need Mike Rogers. Let's get to it.
Mike Rogers, he's a tool and a half.
And
Somebody said we should vote for Pedro. I don't know about that. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? No. Test 1, 2. Hello. That's good. All right. We've got more entertainment for you. Hang on to your seats. I want to tell you before we get to our next guest, though, if you haven't already stepped outside out there in the front, as you're perusing, obviously, here in the silent auction, all of these wonderful donations to the silent auction go to help raise money so that we can elect good candidates here in the third. So it's a great cause. If you haven't already done that, make sure you do tonight. Speaking of another great cause, Michigan for Vaccine Choices out here at talking about making America healthy again. They got some great stuff out there. Stop out and say hey and give them a shot. We go.
Did you say you have a shot?
Give it a shot.
No shot! No shot!
You know, last week I was at a thing where we were having a masquerade ball. And I told them, I don't know where you guys been the last few years. I'm kind of anti-mask. So I didn't have to wear one. And they didn't check my status either. That was kind of nice. I'm a free-range human, so that's good. Never a dull moment up here. Hey, up next, please help us welcome. This is going to be a fantastic performance tonight. We keep the entertainment rolling, even better than that Napoleon Dynamite there. To sing a song I think you'll be familiar with, a viral hit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mason Klotz.
Boom. Put it up. Or send it to your boy. Or just send it to my nerd too.
What's up, Ranger?
Hello, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for having me. The song I'm going to do, this one's by Oliver Anthony. This one's called Richmond, North Richmond. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours,
The bullshit
pay. So I can sit right here, with the night away, drag back home with troubles away.
It's a damn shame.
Oh, it's a damn shame.
What?
The world's got to people like me, people like you. I can just wake up, not be true, but
But it is.
oh, yeah, living in the new world with an old soul. There is Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you do, wanna know what you do. Don't think you know, but you know that you do.
Oliver Anthony, yeah.
Cause your toleration is casting no end. Rich, not the rich man.
We should always yell this one in this table.
I wish politicians look out for minors, not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street,
And just
you
got the
got
SNAP
nothing
benefits
to
going.
eat. Don't be milk and welfare. Got it for 5 for 3.
300 pounds.
Taxes are not to pay. Pass the place down. This damn country does keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame. The world got to for people like me, for people like you. Wish I could just wake up and not be true, but it is. Oh, yeah. Living in a new world with an old soul. Yeah, these Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all wanna have total control. Wanna know what you do, wanna know what you do.
Anti-vax shit.
Don't think you know, don't think you do. Cause your toleration is passing no way.
Yeah, but you got
Rich
seven
man,
that are working.
rich
We found that
man.
out because we had what I call kicks and beehives out there. That's what they call them. But there's 7 of them that have a organization committee and actually do something. So the ones I would I can send you their info.
Working all day, overtime hours, bullshit pay.
Fox, part of the government representation.
So now the moment you've all been waiting for. Tonight, we're coming together to talk about some of those most important subjects, not just in the past several years, but as we speak and for the years to come. How do you know that if you don't have safe, secure borders, you don't have a nation, right? So please help me and welcome Jason Jones next. He's an internationally recognized border intelligence specialist, keynote speaker with a career including multiple investigations into Mexican cartel leadership and strategic collaboration with U.S. intelligence agencies. Jason brings first-hand insight into the threats posed by unsecured borders and transnational crime. And I'm telling you what he knows, it will see your conscience. It really will. What he's seen, I think most folks just couldn't handle. But we have to be aware. We have to face evil right there in the eyes so that we can confront it. He's got that first-hand insight into those threats posed by those unsecured borders. In the last several years, we've seen what that's done to this country. A retired captain from the Texas Department of Public Safety's Intelligence and Counterterrorism Division, he supervised human intelligence operation in multiple countries and now dedicates his voice to educating communities, executives, and government agencies. Get ready, folks. This is going to be an eye-opening session, real-world experience, actionable intelligence. He's also got some good news, too. You've seen him on television. He's here tonight with your 3rd District. Welcome to the stage, Jason Jones.
Hey, Tony, can you back that one up for me, right? Let's try it. If not, we'll start. I'm a little far from the device. And yeah, that's gunfire. That's gunfire, ladies and gentlemen.
Trying to show, the American people what's really happening at that border, but more importantly, how what's happening there directly impacts them and their families. One of the problems that Republicans and Democrats have had for decades is that we look at that border through the lens of immigration only. And what I'm really trying to do is illuminate
Most likely.
against the state, against our country, and what's happening to our citizens.
Last night the guy left them, and so we just kept on walking. They don't hear. Hello, if this is what we need, then they kind of take that. It's to be available per day. Yes.
Saturday morning, we're still going to about
Yes, sir.
Even after they paid all the fees, all the rent, you're still about
All the time.
We've been embedded with the minimum of the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. We came to uncover the devastating impact of the Sinaloa cartel here, but also the collateral damage to the rest of our nation.
Chief, what's the major change in tactics you're seeing in this area? The big shift being over the last year from drugs to bodies as the main commodities. So they're needing more money smuggling humans than they are for anything else.
For real.
The United States government does not designate these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. I can tell you right now, all you have to do is look at what's happening in Mexico with the hyper-violence.
It is coming to our country. And when we talk about the cartels, we have to look at them for what they are. The United States government continues to attack the symptoms, drugs, weapons, human smuggling, human trafficking. That's all important. But there's one thing that's responsible, and it is the Mexican cartel, and we are not taking them on.
Ladies and gentlemen, my sincere, and I truly mean this, my sincere congratulations to you and your families after 8 years of effort to get these cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations. You and we have done it. This is a big deal, and it matters. And it matters to every one of you and your families. And what I'm going to show you today, no one has seen unless you watch Newsmax. I'm the only journalist to go into Mexico and illuminate where we are right now and what's taking place. It directly impacts us to where we are headed. And tonight is not about the past, because for the first time, we're winning. And it is fantastic to be here before you today and talk about not 8 years of problems. You see, I've been crossing this country for 8 years to get these savages designated as foreign terrorist organizations. And it is already working. In Mexico right now, as I talk to you,
When you
they
get
have
caught with like 50 fucking kids dead, I would think so.
That's 27 miles a day in Mexico. Now you say, Jason, that's great, that's Mexico. How does that impact us? And this is a very important thing we're going to talk about tonight. Remember, everything that happens in Mexico directly impacts us. Our two nations are very intertwined. In the United States, and this is the best data I can give you as of right now, because our system with CDC is so broken. It is so broken. But from April of 24, we were at 101,000 overdoses. In April of 2025, when President Trump, and look, that is over 6 months behind. We are now at 76,000. The numbers are dropping dramatically. This is all because of the terrorism designation and the leadership of President Trump, period. All of us have a journey. It started somewhere for each of you that drove many of you to run for office, that drives what you do. For me, and when it came to why I've just gone absolutely crazy to get these savages eliminated in their operations to Butte so that we could finally get them designated as terrorists. It started for me in 2009, just so you know, as a retired captain in the Texas Department of Public Safety, I've lived 9 times, ladies and gentlemen, across that state. It's like its own country. And we were directly going after these cartels. I lost a lot of people. I worked with 72 migrants in San Fernando. They were executed out of Los Angeles. We worked with 300 men, women, and children on Allende, who the Zetas killed, chopped into pieces, and then so because they have a saying. You can't count a body that doesn't exist. The 54 at the casino in Monterey, and I could go on. For me personally, though, the big one was we received intelligence that says we're going to start moving a bunch of migrants, about 60 that were from China, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Mexico. They were going to move them into what they call a kill house and chop them into pieces. So I watched the young analysts and agents, some of the most senior agents within my agency, work to get these people's lives saved. And we worked with a source just inside Piedras Negras. He called back after I watched these people all day long trying to save these lives. And the source came back and said it's too late. They've begun moving a dozen of these folks out of this house into the kill house and they're killing them right now. Now I want you to try to lead people through that. This wasn't a burglary. This wasn't a robbery. This is a mass murder. That Americans across our country had no idea what we were dealing with as citizens. So I sent everybody home, and I went home that night as a leader, and I thought, how the hell do I bring them back? How do I do that? That next morning, I woke up to a call from one of my agents. He said, Captain, we just got a call from the source that we're starting again tonight. Do we have permission to try to rescue them, work with the Mexican government? I said, absolutely. And I watched again as these incredible people went to work. And that night, they rescued 54 people who were about to be chopped up. Ladies and gentlemen, these atrocities and what Mexico had become, the story has not truly been told to you yet. It's going to be very soon. I have some good friends who are going to be witnessing some movies. And the reason we had to get the terrorism designation and why it was so important is because it provided focus and authorities. We couldn't do what we've always done. And now as President Trump has done this, I want you to please hear me. Over the next few years, millions of lives from the United States, from Mexico, from Central and South America, and Europe are going to be saved because of these policies. President Trump has it right. Total elimination and FTO designation. And what I'm going to show you tonight is what we've learned. You're looking at the only man in the United States media, in the Mexican media, who has embedded with the Secretary of National Defense Forces, because here's what we did. Now that I'm on Newsmax, as I knew was going to happen, all the news would go domestic, because they wanted to see the domestic operations, getting millions of people who cross the borders out. We went to Mexico and we went south. And I'm not going to just talk about it, I'm going to show it to you. Because when I tell you a story, that's one thing. But when you see it, when you truly see it, you feel it. And you can understand why you've been overrun with methamphetamine, why you have been overrun with fentanyl. And this should have never happened. As these cartels truly became a parallel government, not just in Mexico, but in 65 countries. Please hear me, that's according to the DEA, around the world. And as we have put pressure on them, what has happened is that we've now illuminated the problem in South America. And I'm going to really talk to you about this in a way tonight and show it to you the way no one has yet. And this is really where I wish the administration was doing better, so you understand why we're targeting Venezuela first before Colombia and Ecuador. And they are coming next, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I want to give you some stats real quick, because stats do matter. Never mind the homicides that are down in Mexico. Incredible work. 34,000 apprehensions in Mexico against these savages. 17,000 firearms seized. 283 tons of drugs. And over 1,500 labs. Now, when I say labs, and I'm going to walk around because I'm a walker, I want you to understand something. These are mega labs. I couldn't figure out, as many of us could, how is it that even through COVID, we had record numbers of fentanyl pouring into the country. So in April, I was allowed to embed the National Defense Forces, and we flew via Black Hawk helicopter from Culiacan, where the war is truly taking place between the Sinaloa Cartel. And as you watch this video, I want you to understand, as we came in, at 3,500 feet is when you first smell it. This lab produced 200 kilos of methamphetamine a day, per day. And this is one that they consider a small one. And as we come in this Black Hawk helicopter, I've got to tell you, I mean this. I fly a lot. But when you fly in a Black Hawk at almost 10,000 feet, and you think to yourself, you know, is this thing really airworthy? This is Mexico. Right? I mean, I've done some smarter things in my life than this. But when you come in, I want you to watch these pilots. You're going to see one of the pilots walking around. When we go into this lab, they held the lab because there's active war zones going all around. So we had the fear of drones coming in on us. And they held this lab after season it the night before. But look at the size of this thing. And this is what we're up against. Also, what you're going to see in this next video here as well is you're going to see an armament of about 50 elements. When I first got in with them, I thought this was just how they patrolled Sinaloa. This was for me. This was for my team to ensure our safety. This is what we're up against.
We'll come here, so regularly, we just landed.
Everybody hear it okay?
We come here, we're going to be making operations. So many of that, we want to find out what's really happening. And the change between two administrations collaborating, working together to go after this poison that's being pushed here. This is where the fight is. mega lab in the United States. Here in Mexico, this one would be considered smaller. By the way, it produces up to 200 kilos of methamphetamine per day. But we are in some of the most remote countries. I got to tell you, I don't know if you can tell, we're in the mountains of Sinaloa, approximately 52 clicks east of Culiacan, and this is the area controlled by the El Mayo faction of the Sinaloa cartel. Now, over my right shoulder here, this is a reactor. This is where the synthesis to making this deadly methamphetamine begins. And then from there, it comes across over into these other barrels where it goes through the different solvents. On this last barrel here, that is liquid methamphetamine, just so you know. And then it's going to lead from here, go over this mountain range to another area where they then run it through a series of solvents to make it into its final product. But I have to tell you, I don't have the ability to articulate the smell that you smell between the P2P, your phenylacetone, all hydrochloric acids, the red phosphorus, and the other chemical precursors that they have here. Now, talking about where the chemical precursors come from, most of it is China and India that they're seeing on the ground. There's one last thing I will show you here. Look over here to my right. This is a makeshift pool. Water, the defense forces here are telling me, are very important in the production of methamphetamine. And so it's usually somewhere close to a creek where they can pipe that water up to make those deadly poison. Look, at the end of the day, great work by the Mexican military and the army here, stopping this lab before it impacts the United States, Mexican citizens, or other citizens around the world. And it's great to be here and an honor to be here with these soldiers, showing what they're doing, the great work they're doing. There's real honor in what they're doing out here.
That's how we got around. That's how we got around this with those miniguns. And I'm not kidding you. When you're flying at 9,000 and 10,000 feet, those are the things that you think about. And it didn't hit me that I was in a war zone to the degree that it did until we went for a mountain pass, and I watched those guys with those chain guns jump up. Oh, that's not a good sign. And all of a sudden, they flip this red switch, and then under it, there's another switch. And when they hit that switch, these two big canisters in front of you engage, and these rounds locked in. Well, that's really good. But this is why we fail. Please hear me. We can't arrest our way out of this. You can't seize your way out of this. We had to change what we were doing. This is why we're bringing out President Trump and these new initiatives, holding the Mexican government accountable. Now, we are in phase 1. I want to be very clear on that. As somebody that's been down there, embedded with them, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And I show you these videos because I want you to understand what we are up against and why we are literally now striking votes in South America. Because when you understand these chemicals and the amount of them in the mountains, it's stunning. They have what they also call storage facilities. And these storage facilities are no joke. This is one lab. Look at this. 21 tons of methamphetamine. And they've seized over 1,500 of these labs. If you're wondering why community after community, family after family have been destroyed across the nation, it is this poison. And I can look down at these chemicals, and I can see the labels from China at the lab that I went to. The second one is India, then it's followed up by Pakistan and then Bangladesh. But do you notice you're never told that by the U.S. government? It's China, China, China. See, the cartels have already worked around it. This is an example of how big this problem set has truly become. And this is just Mexico. Remember, we've also got South America. As we have applied this pressure, the South American cartels have risen, and the cocaine production has more than doubled. Now, when you're here, you also see these storage facilities. This is what the Mexican government has titled it. The reason they've done that is because if it doesn't have a reactor in order to cook the dope, along with a mixer or a distiller to make it, then they can't consider it a lab. And what the cartels have done is they have strategically placed millions of pounds of chemicals in the mountains all across that country. So when they run out, no problem. We've got plenty all over the nation. And the Mexican government in phase 1, I want to be very clear here, is doing an incredible job of taking this down. I see every morning the seizures they're making across the country because they share it. Now, any journalist can do this, but we were the only ones that went south. It's incredible. But look at the amount of these chemicals. This is why what we were doing was never going to stop. And when you see the capability as they have evolved into a parallel government, you understand also why we had so many problems. So we left that location and we flew. I told them I also want to see a marijuana grow. No, yeah, you got an opium field, that'd be great. They said, sure. Like, we've got them everywhere. And what you find, as we took off from one side and we went to this next side, you see these little green patches in the mountains of Senegal all around. Because it's an array of dry areas. And then all of a sudden you see this little green area, at least the grow sites. This is me in an opium field. Over this mountain range is also a marijuana field. And I'm talking about, again, the Mexican government has come in and held this from the Sinaloa cartel. We've come in and illuminate that it's not just the chemicals. Mexican cartels have also brought in opium so they can grow the heroin as well.
With the Mexican military touring grow sites and labs seized from the drug cartels. Jason, I can't imagine all the things you've been seeing. Tell us about it.
I can't believe that we're able to get a signal out here as far as the motors we are. But right now, we're sitting over outside approximately 50 plus miles or so on the northeast side of the state of Sinaloa. We're in a poppy field. Now, the Mexican army just seized this yesterday, and they held it overnight so that we can show this to the American people. And you can see it's really beautiful. Just to be clear, but look at this when they cut into it. You can actually see, and I don't know if that's the cameras are like that, but you can see that they just cut into it. You can see the opium coming out of it. At this stage, this is a younger plant. Once this falls away, it reveals the bulb, just like you're seeing in some of these bulbs here. This is what they use to make heroin. So this crop was planted probably about 2 months ago. One thing that's important to note, if you see the corn that's mixed into it, the grower with the cartel will do that on purpose because that keeps the military from coming in with their helicopters and spraying poison on it. So then what happens is their soldiers have to get in harm's way, come in on the ground like they did in the mountains here, and then come in here and they'll have to take this out. Now behind you, you've got soldiers right now picking this, so they're burning. Another way they can also take it out is they'll take a stick and they'll break these stems. Once they break it and it breaks over, it won't regrow. So once it breaks, that's another method they can use. But the cartel growers specifically will plant the corn mixed with it. They can also then claim that the government, was messing with their crops and damaging our corn, and that's not the case at all. So great work by the Mexican military out here and allowing us to come out and see that. One last thing I'll just say, right over this mountain range is the marijuana field. So we're about to cross over that mountain range, go to the marijuana field, and we'll be there in probably about 30 minutes to an hour. This is what's happening out here. But you guys have heard me talk about the Mexican government and the great work the military is doing. We're seeing more collaboration. I can tell you on the ground was just rolled out yesterday, and out here is Poppy Field. They're doing it, guys. Back to you.
Jason Jones, incredible. While we got you right now, I want to ask you, how often do they take over poppy fields or marijuana fields, or does working with the Trump administration have anything to do with this?
I'm sure that it does. Now, first thing you know, they're doing this all the time. These things are in the mountains of the field, but if you look at the tempo, I asked very clear to the general that I interviewed, that interview hopefully will air tomorrow in the process, but it's very clear. The operational tempo has increased dramatically. You see it in the statistics, you see it in their operations, and last night I was out with the guys on patrols and checkpoints. They're pushing the cartel out, but not letting them have access to food and cover. They're trying to shut their operations down in a multitude of different levels we'll be covered later.
Jason Jones, great stuff.
Now, the success that we are having right now, ladies and gentlemen, all has to do with what the Mexicans are doing in the relationships. Phase one, very important point. Please hear me on this. At the highest levels of the Moreno Party, which is in charge right now, President Sheinbaum, you have corruption. And it's just the way it is. But because of the pressure that President Trump has put on the Mexican government, what they are doing in phase one is attacking the infrastructure. They are not yet moved in phase two, going after what we call the company or the net. But this is winning. We had a 57% drop in fentanyl seizures at your southwest border. This is huge. We are finally winning at this where for 8 years we were failing. The policies are truly working. Now, and again, what are they also doing? They're going after the weapons coming south and the money going south. They're trying to break this cycle, because if you go after the infrastructure like I'm showing you, it breaks their back financially. From there, they can then move into phase 2. Now, we're going to see a bump in the road in the coming weeks. This will be between President Trump and President Sheinbaum, just as we saw originally, you may remember. Because from their perspective, what they fear is us going into Mexico alone. Sovereignty is their fear. So they're doing right now what President Trump wants done. And this is exactly why you're not seeing what we're doing in Venezuela and in the South, in Mexico yet, because they truly are going after the networks, or excuse me, the infrastructure of these cartels, which has really stunned me. Please understand, I have worked them for decades, and to see it into the breadth and scope of it is truly tremendous. When we talk about how they maintain control in Mexico, I'm going to show you a monster. Are you familiar with the term monsters? Okay, this is a stage 4 armored vehicle of cartels. First phase, you had these big monsters that move very slowly. Phase 2, you had much more mobility into it, and now as they've gone into 4, these are much bigger again, but they work in tandem with smaller armored vehicles. This one here that you're about to see was seized just outside of Sinaloa on with General Perez. I want you to listen to what he has to say about the weapons, because this is what they are fighting down there, the capability and the trade craft of these cartels. You turn the volume up a little bit?
We found magazines, bullets, and cartels. So you could like you guys to try to stop the cops to the next canal where we are trying to catch you there.
So they're going there.
Yeah.
They're on the way to try to stop you guys. Incredible. Tell us what you see here, John.
Okay. This shop has some access that these guys from the rifle to fire. So you can see, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 access. You can use to use the rifle. So in the top, we can see the bar.
Oh, yeah.
That they used to put a machine gun.
We had layers.
And this on the front, what's this for?
To open the roads or try to hit the other cars, enemy.
To help get away. And whose area are we in right now?
This truck is supposed to be from Mayo Trash.
Mine is about as back there. And that his son now runs this, right? Known as Flaco? Yes. Okay. And let me show you inside here real quick. This is incredible because this is why they've been designated as terrorist organizations. It's these capabilities that they have. And you can see these windows, but I want you to take a look here too what they found inside. Very important point. You see this right here? This is a bullet trap. In the old days, they could shoot here around and it wouldn't get through, but they could come up to the door seams. This is advanced technology that the cartels learned from years of battling one another. These bullet traps, just like you would see in a American manufactured armored car. Now, you get inside, you can see this thick glass. This thing is covered in armor. It's got their visibility of different logos directly linked to Myers and body. You can see a radio battery that was left because they use those radios. And also, of course, the cell phone mark they shot. But at the end of the day, this is what the Mexican army is up against. It's a very important point here because make no doubt, there's battling what these men and women are doing out here. Very elite army, doing what they can to protect their citizens. We have to remember what they do here directly protects us in the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I've done some dumb things in my life. That one right there was really bad. We are in the middle of a war zone right there. The guys were very nervous getting us in there as a film crew. I can't tell you, they're using a lot of drones, dropping bombs, and that's what they were mostly fearing over there because they had driven a lot of the cartel out. And as they've been going after this infrastructure, when you interview these generals, it's pretty fascinating. They'll tell you they know that they have to fix this. They can't have this capability, these cartels. And remember, this is easily fixed. I want to say that again. Going after and fixing these cartels and eliminating them is not a difficult important thing. We're not going to stop a drug problem. We're not going to stop a human smuggling or human trafficking problem. But you have to take away these capabilities that allow them to be a parallel government. And it is finally happening, and I'm happy to report that. So I come back from Mexico, and I did an interview with General Guillo. He is the 4-star general for U.S. Northern Command. And I'm going to play this video for you because I want you to understand. One of the things that we were seeing as we were getting the data from the Mexican government is massive seizures in the Pacific. First it started with 1 ton of cocaine, then it was 2, then it was 5, then it was 10. As I talk to you right now, the Mexican government and Navy alone are at 51 tons of cocaine seized off the Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a cocaine bonanza coming out of South America. And it all has to do with how fast these cartels adjust on a dime. So what I'm going to show you is the interview with General Guillo, and I want you to really listen to what he says about the Maritime. Remember, this is April when I interviewed him. And I want you to listen to what he says about what they were saying about the transition of these cartels rapidly from the southwest borders to shut that down into the inland.
General Gregory Guillo leads U.S. Northern Command, the military's shield and spear in defense of the American homeland. We sat down with the general leading this endeavor inside an undisclosed joint operations center.
General, you've accomplished a lot in a very short period of time when it comes to the southwest border. Can you kind of walk us through all the things that you've been doing? Because I think Americans are going to be stunned when they hear.
Yes, well, our command has. We took the executive order on the 20th of January and ran with CBP and with some policy changes. The illegal migration of people across the border has decreased by 97% since we began. And then the illegal drug activity looks to be down 60% or more coming across the border.
And you've done all this in less than 3 months.
That's right.
I mean, that's unprecedented.
That's right. Well, we have a lot of great service members, great partners in the Border Patrol and out in the Maritime, great partners with CBP and also the Coast Guard.
General, someone who has as much experience as you do in combat environments all over the world, seeing what you're seeing with these cartels' capabilities, has that surprised you?
It has. First thing that I think we really had to focus on is when we say cartel, it's not a homogenous cartel. There's dozens and dozens, and they're all different, and they have different specialties, they have different ways that they try to conduct illegal activity. And so as we try to counter their ability to challenge our territorial integrity with illegal flow of drugs or people across the border, we really had to get smart on them in a hurry because, as I know you know, they're all very different.
One thing I know about the cartels, General, when they lose hundreds of millions, some articulate billions in the loss of bodies crossing that southwest border as a direct result of everything happening, they're going to shift their operations. Maritime is something that very likely where they're going to shift those operations to. Are you seeing anything like that? And now that you've deployed, I believe now 2 destroyers.
That's right.
One to the Gulf of America, one to the Pacific. How is that working out, and are you seeing a deterrent?
Yes, it's working well, and your facts are right. We have a destroyer in the Pacific and one in the Gulf, and they're bringing a layered approach. So they're working with Customs and Border Protection's AMO, which has some fast boats, very maneuverable, quick responsive. Of course, the Coast Guard is there, and then we can bring our destroyers with some advanced sensors and detection capability. And really what we're trying to do is hit all of the domains, the land, the air, and the maritime all at the same time to get the President's direction, which is to seal and repel at the border.
Hit all domains. Did you catch that? I love that. I gotta tell you, so we are in one of the most top secret skills. I cannot tell you anything about it. And I cannot believe that somebody that held the clearance, that not only did we get access to it, but that they let us go down there. And I have to tell you, it's very humbling because we're in the place where when the missiles are targeted toward this nation, these are the men and women who are sitting in a place just outside of Colorado Springs in a bunker that is not the Cheyenne Mountain that you think about this is totally separate. Just to get my cameras in there, took 2.5 hours of scoping us and all of our equipment to do that interview. It was very humbling. And I gotta tell you, that's the man you want on the watch, because I love what he says. We don't give you second chances here. There are no mistakes. They're there 24/7 working to keep us safe and alive. It was very humbling, but I knew, ladies and gentlemen, I knew when I walked out of that room, it was all Maritime. Because you don't move assets like that unless you have the intelligence that they've already made the adjustment. And look at what's happened now. If you watch Newsmax the last few months, you've been seeing me almost to the point of nausea, saying stop looking at the Caribbean, look at the Pacific. Because as we're bombing these boats and they're telling you about Venezuela, don't ever listen to what your government tells you. Look at what they're doing. Secretary Rubio left President of Mexico's office, and where did he go? He went to Ecuador. And following that meeting, they designated Los Lobos and Los Llaneros as terrorist organizations. President Trump is on a terrorism designation. He's going to designate everybody. I mean, I love it. But now we got Antifa designated. It's fantastic. I mean, this is the policy that changed everything. If they adjusted us, we could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives of Americans. But what is happening with Venezuela is that they are the violence generator. Please hear me on this. Through Cartel de Sols, which is the cartel of the sons, Maduro has a grip on South America. So he's got Selma, CJNG, the FARC, ELN, and many other cartels like what I mentioned, the Clan del Golfo out of Colombia. They are the problem set. So I knew they were going to jump from the Caribbean to the Pacific because the amount of dope I was seeing from the Mexican government being seized. And I'll show you some of that here in just a second. And as a direct result of that, the reasoning is because, and I ask you, be very honest with me, are you aware that the output of cocaine in South America has more than doubled the production? Is anyone aware of that? Why in the hell does our government not tell you? That's exactly what's happening. For those of us that are older, we remember the Miami Vice days. Hey, let her rip, Tater Chip, that is nothing compared to what we're seeing right now. We are under a cocaine bonanza, and the data validates it. And I'm going to show it to you here in a second. I want to show you what they're seizing. This is Mexico, just the Mexican government. And I get these videos from them, and none of this is making national TV, unless you watch Newsmax. But look at this. And you can't make it up. I mean, no one is showing you this. It's the craziest thing, because they're showing you Venezuela. Yo, what's coming out of Colombia and Ecuador is stunning. The main change here, ladies and gentlemen, is Ecuador. In the past, we always had Peru, Bolivia, and others moving cocaine. Ecuador is now moving it globally. So I've warned the New Zealand, Europe, and Australia that you are also in a cocaine bonanza. And this is why President Trump is adding so much pressure
Fire one up right here.
to the Venezuelan government, because they provide a sanctuary for the other cartels. But they are next. We're about to designate it out of Colombia, Clan del Golfo, as a terrorist organization as well. See, this is what winning feels like. It's damn good, isn't it? I love it, man. I love it. So as we were pounding them in the Caribbean, sinking those boats, I don't know if you noticed, two were alive. We hit them with a C-130 instead of a Hellfire missile. And the two that survived, what we learned is that one was from Ecuador and one was from Venezuela. That's the link and the collaboration that you hear me talking about between the cartels all the way over to Ecuador. But no one's telling you this. I can't understand it in my mind. It makes absolutely no sense. So the Pacific corridor is the big one. And in order to fix this, we're going to have to do a lot more when it comes to the other parts of South America. Now, more validation to you of what I'm talking about. This is Operation Viper. Is anyone familiar with this operation? It's ongoing right now. Look at these numbers. 76,140 pounds of cocaine seized in 54 days. That's just our military and Coast Guard. This is what I'm talking about. Now I know what you're saying, Jason. I'll take cocaine over fentanyl any day of the week, and I'm with you there. But here's the problem. Our USA street gangs know that the addiction now is fentanyl. And they will polyload it, just like they're doing in Philly, just like they're doing across this country. You go to buy cocaine, you're getting fentanyl. You go to buy fentanyl, you're getting heroin and cocaine. They're mixing these cocktails together. So this is why we have to have a strong South America shutting this down. And we should have seen it, ladies and gentlemen, as a nation. We should have seen what was coming, and you should have been told. So as we apply pressure in phase one to Mexico, South America is now revealing itself. The problem is no one's telling you. We're hitting boats, but they're not telling you the why. And I'm trying to do that. I will be in Ecuador. I was supposed to be there last week embedding with their military. I'm going to do it. And we will show you what's happening. But I want to leave you with this tonight. And I truly mean this. I know there's a lot of people running for office. I spent the last 8 years trying to master communication and illuminating what a cartel was for 8 years to Americans, showing them how they operate. I've had more death threats against me by them threatening to cut my face off, cut my head off than I can tell you. But we had to get this done. And for those of you who are in this and you're running for office, please hear me on this. Communication in today's world, because we've all been lied to, has changed. If you just stand there and talk, and you don't validate it, and you don't show that what we as Americans are doing for people, people won't believe it. Believe me, I did this for a very long time. So try to really show it, because you feel it in your heart. And I'll tell you, when I had those little girls who were being trafficked, and they literally had those wristbands, let me tell you, this changed this country. I promise you, the reason these savages are terrorists today is because of those images we got out. And moms all over the country couldn't take those images of babies being trafficked into this country. It worked. So I'm going to leave you with this. For 8 years, I've crossed this country, and I know as I'm talking right now, there are mothers and there are fathers in here who lost your children, or you lost a loved one, a family member, to these savages and what they produced. And I promised you 2 things along the way. One, we would get these bastards designated as foreign terrorist organizations, and we did. We've done it. Second, I promised you the world's best of the best were coming for them, and it's happening. God bless you. It's great to report great news finally. Have a great night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you. God bless the families who asked you that. Thank you very much.
We got screaming internet right here. You know that? Like wireless internet? I bet you.